Always worked hard. I was never lazy. I was always somebody that believed in hard work. And when I got to a point where that 7th grade teacher, it's in the book, and that 7th grade teacher talked about, finding what my passion was, and you'll have a star on your hands. And it was really validation for me at that point that I had that kind of potential. And so that's really, really where it started. And from that point forward, the mission was to find what I love to do and discover whether or not I can make a living actually doing it. And when it came to sports, obviously I was incredibly confident. I wasn't incredibly confident as a player per se, because even in college I was 5'9", 5'10", 130 pounds.
Wow.
You could blow me away for crying out loud. But I could really ball.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I had enough confidence to know that the skill set, which got me a basketball scholarship, which put me in a position to learn from a legend, not just about sports, but about life. If you're smart, which a lot of us are, you don't assume that opportunities are waiting for you. You know obstacles are standing in every door.
Right.
You do firmly believe, and you're raised to believe, you have to do twice as much to get half of what folks in white America get. And so that challenge that you have to embrace and you have to deal with, that's hard to deal with when you have achieved.
Right.
It's hard to deal with when you're standing on the mountaintop, because everybody's gunning for you and trying to take you down. But when you fall, you never assume it's guaranteed. And so for me, to lose my job was bad enough. To lose a 7-figure salary was bad enough. But to then turn around and to know that everybody knew, and to know that you had your share of haters, and people were basically saying it was justified, not knowing anything that was going on or why it happened, to go through all of that, while at the same time wondering whether or not you were going to ever be able to restore your career while you're an expectant father.
Goodness.
It was by far the scariest moment of my life. There's no doubt about it, because you want to know what a nightmare is for a man. And I say this to people, and I've said this to black men, I've said this to white men, I've said this to everybody. I said, this is where real men come into play, where we all in this together. If you are a real man, you want to provide for your family. To those out there, you ain't a real man if you ain't thinking about providing for your family. You know what I'm saying? If you want to take all the money for yourself and you don't want to give nothing to anybody else and you want to leave everybody else hanging while you live the good life, that is not a man. A man provides. That's what men do when you have a family. I got the message. It's time to make new plans. And so the beauty of the business that I'm in, the business I've chosen to be in, is that instead of working around the clock trying to figure out what somebody else wants from you, good or bad, there are moments that crystallizes it for you in your mind. Pay attention and you'll see what they are.
Yeah.
And you'll know what to do accordingly.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to leave. Don't be scared to bet on yourself. You're going to be scared anyway, because it is scary. But at the same time, betting on yourself isn't always leaving. Betting on yourself is believing in you. Knowing who you are, what you're worth, having an idea about it anyway, and willing to work towards that, to validate that reality. That's betting on yourself.
Right.
Whatever decision emanates from that is based off of you looking at you and saying, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And that's why I wrote my book. That's why I have my podcast and all of this other stuff,
Sure.
because that's the point I reached. First of all, understand you're not alone. That everybody you run across has had doubts. Everybody you've run across has had apprehension about who they are, where they are, where they're going, etc. You're not alone. In situations like that, you want company. You want to feel like you're not this aberration. You're not this anomaly standing alone by yourself in the wilderness of fear, and you're the only one that doesn't have the courage to tackle it and overcome it. That's number one. Number two, educate yourself about what you want to do. You should be scared if you're clueless. You should be scared if you're ignorant to what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you intend to go about achieving whatever aspirations you may have. You're supposed to, if you're going to overcome that fear at some point, knowledge is a part of the equation. So educating yourself about what it is your field is, what it is your aspirations are, whatever the case may be, the minefields that lie in wait, all of these different, the potential minefields, etc., etc. You got to know to educate yourself about those things, because you have no shot at overcoming it if you don't educate yourself. And last but not least, it's not just about educating yourself and knowing that you have company, but really the most important thing is really putting yourself, and it requires like a literal, not just figurative, but a literal look in the mirror. Asking yourself how you will feel if you never try.
Ooh.
Asking yourself that.
Yeah.
If I never try, if I don't go for this, where's that gonna leave me? When you don't do that, what you have done is refrain from challenging yourself to be all you could be. Because there's no one that could become all they could be without looking at themselves.
Absolutely.
Denzel Washington talks about consistency, the importance of consistency. You understand? You got to put in the work, you got to go for it. But you have to have consistency. Because without consistency, putting in the work, the dream is nothing but a dream. And I get all of that. But you have to be able to look at yourself. And you have to be able to be honest with yourself and know when you mess up. Because when you mess up, Lewis, it's gonna catch you. What I mean when I say it's gonna catch you is, at some point, you're gonna look at you and you're gonna say, I didn't try. I didn't go for it. Sustained excellence. That's just the two words that come off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Anybody could be great for a moment. Anybody could have their moment in the sun. But who you truly, truly are at a particular craft is whatever is done over a period of time, a sustained period of time. Hard work is what stands out, to answer your question directly, but it was for different reasons. Because you don't work hard to play hard, she used to tell me. You work hard to have the ability to play when you want to.
That's a good
There's a
line.
difference. And what she meant by that was that you handle your responsibilities first. And when you work hard and you have that sense of pride, it goes right out the window if you utilize your efforts in the wrong fashion. But when you do what's right, and it's based off of that effort that you put in, then you feel good about it because you took care of your responsibilities. Then you can go play.
Sure.
Can't do the playing before any of that stuff.
Right.
And so I've always been about my business in that regard.